So how can you avoid wasting time? That's a usually when it comes to marketing, for me, it's really about not just about getting results and coming with the idea to generate income, but also with the idea to be really efficient with your time. So here, I'm going to take an example. So I received a message, and the message was about, okay, so I would appreciate your your input here. So can you have a look at this, let's say, marketing strategy, and give me your opinion? And the marketing strategy is quite simple. That's a video. And that's for a person in the kind of in the wellness industry. So the video this time is really about some kind of exercise that can be made really simply in order to get like a better quality life. So the idea is for me to look at that video and to give like a quick opinion. And I see so many people doing that. My first answer was, okay, what is the end goal? Because based on your end goal, the strategy is going to be completely different. You can be quite quick and just make like a video or a marketing campaign and just try to really quickly have that marketing campaign being exposed to a maximum of people. But unless you took the time to really think about the end goal, you might actually be wasting a lot of time afterwards. Okay, so the first tip that I will definitely always encourage you to think about is really to have the opposite approach. You first think about the end goal, and based on the end goal, you're gonna actually now think about the best strategy to put in place. I'm going to give you an example. So for that person, she was not a client. She was just asking an opinion. So for that, the video was a fitness video. And there's the technicality, and she focused with someone on the technicality aspect, the angle, the editing, and that kind of things. And I would say, okay, all that is really good, but that is not what really is going to help you to generate more income. What you need to think first is about, okay, what is your end goal? Is your end goal about getting more visibility? That can be a goal. Okay, the end goal can also be getting more clients, for sure, or the end goal can be I like the idea to really try to awareness campaign, because you're really focused on getting like an impact. So any of those goals can actually justify a completely different strategy. So the first thing, if you really want to avoid wasting time, and I can see so many clients wasting time beforehand just because they was trying to do something they've seen being done. No, first of all, think always about and actually that's one of the elements in the first principle of the 7 habits of a highly successful people. Start with the end in mind. Funny enough, as you know, I'm really interested in psychology and all those things, and all those are the principles that I use for my strategy, for my marketing and sales strategy. Is really based more on communication and psychology information rather than just the technicality. And studying with Dr. Wyatt Woolsmore, who is for me ninja when it comes to NLP, one of the first elements, principle of NLP is always having the end goal in mind. So those principles are repeated stressed by Dr. Wyatt Woolsmore. It's the first principle that you can see from that book, The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. And yet, that's still a principle that is neglected by so many people, so many business people. And that can be what actually make your marketing campaign unsuccessful, or successful but after too long. Okay, so this is the first thing. The other element that I would definitely say is really makes a difference I'm actually quite straight here. Hopefully, yes. The other element that is really important, and I have to say that that one I'm struggling within myself, is really the quality of your team. That's so important, especially if you want to scale up. Um, the quality of your team is so important. So at the moment, for example, for me, I'm thinking to scale up, but I know that what if I try to scale up now and try to do so many things on my own, what's happening is, and I mentioned about it, we had like a talk this week, a week relevant for this topic here, is the you can burn out. So instead of really trying to do as much as you can, take also the time to slow down and to now build a team around you. That's definitely what I'm doing at this stage. So I still have like some collaborators, but what I'm looking at is really to have people that I can really rely on a longer on a long term basis. So the quality of your team is really important, and this obviously is something that takes a lot of time. So those are two tips I would say for me are the one I really want to focus on. The first one is really about not starting any kind of a marketing effort before defining the end goal. And once again, the end goal is going to be completely different based on the on what you're trying to find. The strategy is going to be completely different based on what you're trying to achieve. And the second element is really about having your team of expert in those different fields. What I can see sometimes companies are doing, and that's quite funny because I do that for company, but I also realize that I need to do that for mine. Is that you sometimes have in your team people you ask to do things, but who are not especially like experts, you know. So that's not what I mean by delegating. Delegating is really to be able to utilize people for what they are good at, instead of trying to have people doing a little of everything. Sometimes what I need to do for a company is not so much about thinking. It's not actually not so much. It's not just about uh, um, establish a marketing strategy, because sometimes they have a marketing department. Sometimes really utilizing better the resources that they already have. Okay, I'm going to take an example. So there's a company I can see that I initially said no, because they had actually all the resources in place, and sometimes it's also a question to take the time to get the result. Okay, marketing is not something that you do today and straight away you're going to see the result. You're going to have to take some time. 2-3 months is a really decent time to start to get result, but don't expect because you start a strategy today, tomorrow to have results. Okay, so I initially said no because they had already the resources and they had a strategy that they were putting in place. Then I said no because there is some kind of a resistance inside the company. And I like the idea of a synergy. So for me, everything is really about having like good synergy. So I said no, but I'm reconsidering my position, because at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is to really have an impact. So as I'm revisiting my position, and maybe like to offer them some help, because they really need some help. They're doing fantastic things, but they don't really have the appropriate strategy. So, but because they got resources, for me, it's going to be not just about using the appropriate designing the an efficient strategy, but that's also be about reassigning some kind of roles, you know, so you can reutilize the resources that you already have. And that's something that I can see quite often. You might have like a team where you ask them just to do some marketing, but there's so many elements in marketing. It doesn't mean because people are doing marketing that they are good in all those elements. So that's definitely something I would recommend you to do, is to really assess the skills of your team, and to understand that everyone in the team doesn't have the same strength. Now, to have a kind of a good idea how you can do that, I would definitely recommend you that book from Peter Drucker, Managing Oneself. That's a really short book, but really powerful, and that really explains how you can really assess the skills, the competence of people in your team. And actually, that book, Managing Oneself, is actually a book that I will recommend you to offer to any people in your team, because they should be the first people to really know what this what their strength is. And believe it or not, it's not uncommon for people not to be really aware what the strength and the weakness are. So sometimes that's issue that if you pay attention to people, you're going to be able to assess by yourself where the strengths are. But that would be a disservice you would do to your team, not to let them actually progressing without knowing themselves what the strength is. You know, another mistake that people are trying to do when you give them that responsibility to get to a result just because they got a title, is that they are gonna try to improve their weaknesses. You know, so because they sometimes people want to hide their weakness, you know, in order to get some kind of result, and or to pretend that, you know, they are they are the deal. So what people can spend time trying to improve on their weakness, what doesn't make a lot of sense. Even if you decided to work on your weakness, let's say that at the moment you are on 5 out of 10 in some area, and 8 out of 10 in other areas. Even if you work on your weakness, or the 5 out of 10, and you could get a decent result, you will get at a 7, 6, 7. Okay, why not using that time to get from the 8 to a 9, 9.5? You know, so that's what I would definitely recommend you to do, to really assess the skills of of people, so you can really organize the work and delegate just to what people are really good at. Now, so that was for me the 2 tips I wanted to share with you today. Let me move that data like this. So the reflection. Okay, so that's it for today. So there are 2 tips that I will recommend you that's going to make you save a lot of time. It doesn't look like at the beginning, because obviously you're doing some kind of a work up front, but on the long term, that's going to really save you a lot of time. That's going to help you to generate quicker, bigger return on your investment. So the first tip is really to always start with the end in mind. You know, so define your strategy based on the goal that you want to achieve. Okay, that's going to be completely different. So you have your end goal. So you get to, let's say you get your end goals here. You get end goal here. You know that you are here, and now what you're going to do, not just you know your end goal. So what you're going to do, you're going to be able to be like, okay, if my end goal is here, what I need to do to get there, to get here, what I need to get to, what I need to do to get here, and so on. Okay, so you define your end goal and just start from that. That's the first thing. It's going to be much easier. Then the second tip I will give is really about yeah, optimizing your resources. As I mentioned, I'm always surprised sometimes to be working with a company who already have resources, and the issue is not so much the technicality, but mainly to optimize the use of those resources already there. So that's quite funny for me to say that, because that's what I'm doing for companies. And actually, if I want to scale up now, that's what I need also to do for myself. You know, so we are all on the same boat. So let me see. Okay, guys. So Is there any announcement? Yes, there's an announcement here to be made. Important announcement is that the webinar went very well. The LinkedIn webinar was really good. Okay. If there's no replay, but there will be another one next Tuesday. So feel free to contact me to get more information. People really appreciate because I gave like some practical tips to be used, to get some quicker results. So that was good. That's fascinating for me to see how much the world is changing. But I don't know if it's fascinating or sad because everything that's happening now, there were so many signs, So I cannot believe how it is that we can miss those signs so easily. And guess what? Some people are still missing those signs now. Yeah. Look properly around you, you're going to see a lot of changes, So it's up to you guys to be aware. Okay, so raising the level of consciousness, of awareness, is definitely part of the answer. And like Dr. Was it Dr. Yeah, I think that's Dr. Ware Busmo, will actually repeat on a regular basis that nature is not kind with people who lack awareness. Okay, guys, as you can guess, I'm a really big fan of Dr. Ware Busmo. It's about NLP. This person, I said this guy, I feel nearly disrespectful for saying this guy, but he's so humble. This doctor is, if you got the time to go on online, but I don't know if his book is he got one or two books online maybe, but most of the books you need to acquire them directly from him. Okay, Dr. Wales Wolfmo. Okay, guys, thank you very much for your time, and we'll speak again next Thursday. Be on the lookout because there's like a few things happening soon. Okay, to once again, always in that idea to give you a lot of value. But this, what I'm doing here, is going to be transformed in more organized way, formal way. But I will tell you more when everything is done. Okay, guys, speak to you soon. And until there, have a great week. Bye-bye. Cheers.